Right then guys, this is a pickups video. Haven't done one again in absolutely ages. But yeah, I've picked up some stuff and probably shouldn't have, but you know what it's like, couldn't really help myself, and yeah, so anyway, as you can see, this is a DSi XL. Basically, I've had a DSi for absolutely ages, just for like the longest time. I've only had one piece of software on it, which is my Japanese coach. Which, if you want to read, about that, I've done a review of that on my blog, and it was bloody hard to write as well because it was about software and not a game, which I've never done before. Yeah, so anyway, I've had that for ages, and I've never been inspired to play any games on it really, because I like the system, but the screen is too small, and I just didn't think there was really anything on it. But when I got a PSP, I was going to say a PS Vita then, but when I got a PSP ages ago, I think it was either around that time that I got a PSP, or maybe after I got rid of it, that I looked into the games on the DS, and there was actually quite a lot of really awesome RPGs on there, and I really didn't know it had that many decent RPGs. But anyway, I sent the PSP on its way. I really liked the system. It was a brilliant system. I realised that, you know, it wasn't a bad system that I thought it was all the years. It was a brilliant system, got quite a few games for it. I had a decent amount of time to play on it, but I didn't feel a connection with the system. It was a pure instant kind of impulse buy. Just going on to Amazon, finding that it had loads of great games, buying it straight away. I didn't think about it. I didn't really want it for really wanting the system. It really was one of those kind of impulse buys, you know. So I didn't really feel an affinity with the system. I didn't feel that, you know, strong connection to it. So even though I had some great games for it, and I probably didn't play all those great games as much as I should, I sent it on its way. Yeah, but not because I didn't like it. I just didn't, have that big connection with it, basically. So anyway, when Game and Game Station went into administration or whatever, they, as you know, as everyone knows, in the UK, they had this big kind of fire sale going on, and I was selling off games at stupid prices, like 49p, a couple of quid, not for really shitty games, for quite decent games actually, across different systems, which is pretty hilarious considering now that they're offering you like more than, or at least about a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, whatever, they was offering you like double the amount that they would normally give you if you traded those games in. So a game you could have bought for £2, they was giving you £7 back. So that's pretty ridiculous. It just shows you that whoever's running the show at Game and Game Station ain't got a fucking clue, really. But anyway, I've only got one of the flipping games here. Oh no, here it is. So two of the games that I bought in the fire sale was, I wandered over to all the DS games, and I had to look around, and I saw this going for pretty cheap. Well, it wasn't pretty cheap, but it was a reasonable price as to what it would normally be. So it's Final Fantasy, the 4 Heroes of Light. Now I've checked this game out and checked some reviews out on YouTube of some gamers that have played this, and from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like a game that's going to be really, really hard, but they said it's absolutely solid. I'm not into Final Fantasy. I kind of bought this one because it's an RPG and it was cheap. So yeah, I'm not sure that I'll get around to play that, but it's good for the collection. Now here's a game that I'm playing, and I've got to say I will talk about this at some point because I cannot put this game down. Honestly, for the first, this is the first game that I'm playing on the system properly as a game, as opposed to just using my Japanese coach software. I cannot put this game down. I really can't. This is setting a really high benchmark for the games that I'm playing for the system. I mean, setting a really high benchmark for the system, and of RPGs that I play is gonna have to really be quite something to top this game, because this game is fantastic. So yeah, I got this in the fire sale as well, and I've been kind of mulling over this game for quite a while. Like, I put it on the DSi, and I did all the intro and the first bit to the game. The thing that put me off playing this and generally the system in general is that on the DSi, when I'm using my Japanese coach, I don't have a problem reading on that because it's the whole. My Japanese coach is basically based around writing, basically, so all the writing on there is blown up pretty big and really easy to see. Whereas in something like an RPG, like in this game, like the writing and the story is in speech bubbles, so it's actually quite small on the DSi. So it's quite hard to read. Well, you can still read it, but it's smaller than what you'd want it to be, and it kind of feels a bit uncomfortable to read, especially with me because I wear glasses and stuff and being short-sighted. So yeah, I just kind of, after seeing that, I just kind of got put off. I wanted to explore this game, but I was never going to do it on the DSi because the screen was just too small. And all I want to play really on the system is RPGs, so I just kind of thought, well, if the writing is readable but it's uncomfortably small, then it's not really for me. So anyway, I just got it into my head basically just to get a DSi XL, and I went out and I got this one. Yeah, I checked this over and tried to make sure that the screen was pretty good and that it had no scratches on it. This one was one that was, this is second hand by the way, this one didn't have any scratches on the top or bottom screen, although when I got it back, I'm not bothered about it, but it has, I think you can pick it up on the camera, it has got like a little indentation right there, just like a minute indentation. When you're playing the game you can't see it, but obviously you can see a bit of an indentation there. I'm not bothered about that. Yeah, so it has got some indentations above the D-pad, which I'm not really bothered about that because it is superficial, as long as there's nothing really majorly wrong with the screen. That's the main thing really. I did give consideration to getting a 3DS, but yeah, I decided that the screen, even the top screen's bigger, but the bottom screen is only is basically near enough the same. It's only a few millimeters bigger than the DS, so I just thought, well, and plus there's going to be a redesign on the 3DS, maybe not this year, but there's one in the works, so I'd rather hold off. Although playing on this system and getting really into it, kind of keeps making me thinking about picking one up still, even before the redesign. But really, I know I need to hold off and wait for them to bring out a redesign anyway. So, okay, these are the games that I've just got recently. Sonic Colors. Bit disappointed with this game. I know it's meant to be Sonic's, return to form or return to glory, really, but I find it a bit bland, to be honest with you. And it is a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's just a bit bland. I don't like the style of the graphics. The style of graphics kind of remind me of Sonic 4, and I didn't like Sonic 4 or Sonic 4 Part 1 or whatever it's called. Yeah, I don't like the graphics. I don't like the Sonic animation on it, and I find that the stages are a bit boring. To be honest, if you really want to play a portable Sonic game, then you really want to check out Sonic on the Neo Geo Pocket Color and the Sonic Advance games on the Game Boy Advance. This, I'm just not really feeling the love for it, especially after playing Sonic Generations as well, which was an amazing game. Next up, and it's still sealed, is Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume. I'm really excited about playing this. I actually had Valkyrie Profile. I'm not sure whether it was this game, but on the PSP, or whether it was a different Valkyrie game in the series or whatever. But actually I had the Valkyrie game on the PSP. I checked it out just to make sure it worked, but I didn't actually play it. And it still had the same style. It was still like that kind of top-down role-playing game, kind of old school style. So there's, just because the PSP has better graphics doesn't mean that the style of the game is better in any way. Yeah, so anyway, I've heard a lot about this series, so I'm looking forward to it. Next up, and this one is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. I didn't know that this one was going to be shipped from Canada. I kind of ordered it. I thought the seller was in the UK, and then I was waiting and waiting. I was thinking, wow, this is funny. It says it's shipped, but it hasn't come through yet. After a week and a half, it finally arrived. I realised later on that it was coming from Canada, and that this game wasn't released in Europe. But I've found out that even though the DS does have region lock, no one uses it, so that's a good thing. But I checked it out on the DS just to make sure it works anyway, because it was quite an expensive game. Yeah, and I've heard a lot about this game as well, and you can't tell much from the back, but I'm looking forward to playing this. I don't like these style boxes though. At first I was like, yeah, these boxes look cool, but well, I like this. I like the fact that this is in place better, and you have to really push it to get the cart out. But I don't like this. That's cheapo. I don't like that at all. Okay, next up, and I'm really excited about playing this. It's Sands of Destruction, and it's published by Sega. It's probably made by someone else. But I've been checking this game out, and it looks absolutely friggin' brilliant. Really looking forward to playing this. Again, this was shipped from. This was a UK seller, but it is actually a US game. So I'm not sure whether it got a European release, but obviously I've checked it to make sure it works, and it does, and it looks awesome. So I'm looking forward to playing that. So yeah, I'm not interested in. Well, I guess if there's any other difference, like platformers, I suppose on the DS other than the Sonic ones, then I'll be interested in picking them up, but only if they're decent ones. But mainly, on the system. I'm just looking at the RPGs and wanting to pick the RPGs up, because I've really been, like I said, I've been checking out the system for the RPGs, and it's actually chock full of fantastic RPGs. Now the games are still really expensive, but as someone pointed out, the Nintendo games do tend to keep their prices, even third party ones at times, and because the 3DS is backwards compatible, then not with the whole library, but with most third party games, you only come across the odd one that doesn't work, then it's fair enough if they're going to keep the prices, as long as they come complete and in good condition, then fair enough. So that's what I've picked up.